Hello my lovelies and welcome to my channel WYRD is the New Black. My name is Kat. I really hope you're all well. We are in our second lockdown in the UK. It's like having a really boring sequel to a really boring original film so that goes on for way too long. But hey ho, grin and bear it, get on with it. This anyway is a pick a card reading on what would your ancestors have to say to you from their perspective. How would they view your situation? What advice would they give you going forward? So as ever, please take your time to resonate towards a particular stack. Stack number 1, we've got Jasper stone here, which is really lovely. Stack 2, Paulo Santo stick, and stack 3, safety matches. So just be drawn to your particular stack. Just take your time and gravitate. And as ever, I will see you on the other side. Hello and welcome to those of you that chose the Jasper here. So beautiful. I am actually seeing jade as well. Maybe that is significant to some of you. I'm picking up kind of a jade energy as well. Green stones actually, just in general. Interesting. So what does the ancestry want to say to you? What flavour of ancestry is coming forward? What are the messages? Why is it coming forward? Why are they coming forward now? So what I've got here, what I really feel like I've got a nomadic group with this journey card up here, and then this one says you can only go halfway into the darkest forest before you start coming out the other side, which is a proverb from China. Love that proverb. It feels like movement, and then with the dreams need a practical plan, this full moon in Taurus here, this feels like a step-by-step progressive movement, and I feel like there's kind of barefoot energy here, and Durga's got bare feet. There's almost like a one foot in front of another. I feel like this is a small band, a small unit of people that travelled mainly on foot. Excellent hunting skills is what I'm feeling with Strega and Durga here. There feels like a swiftness and agility and observational energy, picking up like a patience as well, the ability to stay very still with this kind of silence going on here. There's actually another group also that I'm picking up. So so here I'm picking up like a star family as well, a star family vibe, and in my mind I'm seeing like really taller energies, very pale is what I want to say, like almost kind of a translucent type of a glow, very tall, very pale, and it's to do with the constellation of Taurus and the star system. I feel like this was very important to these people. I feel like it was a part of this ancestral belief system. I'm hearing the age of Taurus. Maybe that's relevant here as well. I'm not quite sure what period in history that is. You'd have to do Googling. But we've got a nomadic flavor here, and I feel like what they want to say to you is that they've got your back. I feel like you may be feeling a sense of separation, a sense of isolation, of being a kind of being sort of dumped on by other people, or kind of dumped in general. Like there is this sense of feeling a heaviness, a weightedness. This has been a slog is what I feel. I feel that this ancestry were really challenged. I think mainly by, I want to say, climactic climate change. I want to say I'm seeing like really fast flowing riverways, waterways here with huge chunks of ice, and and it's feeling like there's a lot of debris in that part, in those pathways, like big debris. Like giant boulders, like huge chunks of ice, like this is like huge waterways is what I'm feeling. It feels like I don't know, like a thawing, at speed kind of a thawing, but it's cold. It's cold with this ice and this snow. It also feels like there's an obscuration of light, almost like there's not that much sunlight. So this feels like you're halfway through the dark forest and you now know that things are getting better and there's a gradual improvement, but it's still really challenging. There's still a sense of feeling like you're only halfway, or that you're feeling weighted by the length of the journey. And it's within the journey though that all the goodness is on the road. It's not about the destination, and that is coming through quite strongly as a message. It's not about your destination, it's about the journey that is important here. There was a huge challenge to these people. There's an immense capability of survival. It's almost like I'm getting a slight apology from some of your ancestors to say this kind of survivalistic drive that some of you may have is quite. It comes from a lineage of needing to be extremely practical, extremely like non-wasteful. Here it says your dreams need a practical plan. There needs to be a strategy for how to overcome hurdles that are out of your control, that are kind of put in your way, that are kind of dumped. I mean, I feel like somebody may have dumped their crap on you, is my feeling for some of you here, that somebody's just kind of emotionally dumped on your shoulders, or that but some of you are also just carrying a burden. It feels like that doesn't maybe belong to you. You're shouldering a responsibility, or you're shouldering a burden. And it kind of feels like it's not your stuff, it's not your crap, it's not your crap, it's not your crap. This ancestral lineage were not wasteful. I'm getting that really strong. I'm seeing cave paintings now with this bull. I feel like this is old. I feel like these people were very resourceful in how they went about their survival. They are sheltered in different spaces, and I'm seeing caves, and I'm seeing forestry, and I'm seeing quite high spaces as well here. I just feel like there was minimal amount of food, so they had to kind of keep moving. But I almost feel like the route that they took, say for example it was like a cycle, and they would move seasonally, it was almost like the landscape was changing so dramatically and with such vigor and sort of size involved, that the routes could change quite suddenly. There was like a block in the riverway, and I feel like the ancestors are saying to you, these obstacles, you can use them as almost like giant stepping stones to cross the river. To build bridges, you must plan on what would be the most stable end goal. That's what I'm feeling. And there's a bridge up here in this card. It's almost like, I feel like maybe you've been hit on a resource level, because there's strong earth energy, and that usually relates to pentacle energy, which is to do with house, home, finance, health, the things that directly impact, that have a direct environmental impact, which is why this tribal force, these ancestral lineage are like, we're with you. And there's also a very strong feeling of needing to stand your ground, like having a strength of character that stands ground with clarity, seeing things clearly. Stand your ground. Boundaries here with Durga. I mean, you can't get more explicit than that. That's a line in the sand, kind of. I feel like if somebody has dumped on you, or you feel that you've kind of drawn a line in the sand, or you're drawing a line in the sand, there's a separation maybe that has occurred, or you're causing a movement. It's almost beyond your control is what I'm feeling. This kind of separation of energy that I'm sensing here. It could be with another person, it doesn't have to be, but there's almost a desire that you've had to be in a hermit zone, in an observational space. And the energy that I'm picking up from this ancestral tribe is so dignified. There's a real dignity about this, a real integrity about this space for me, a hunting capability, but there's an integrity, a resourcefulness. It sees, you can't look too far ahead on the journey. You have to deal with the here and now. If you come across an obstacle, you have to work out how to, lay down the boundaries. I feel like this is about you saying no, not accepting these things as obstacles, but using them to say, okay, I'm done with this sense of feeling heavy, with this sense of feeling weighted. I feel like you've seen your light, you've gone inward, you've done a lot of shadow work is what I want to say here. You know your strength. And if you feel alone, you're not alone. That's what I'm hearing. This energy has got your back. That both this star family and this ancestral lineage connected with that space has your back. This is very strong capability to deal with what is necessary. I feel like you've evaded. It's almost like, I feel like there's a capability of evading being dumped on as well. This is a tiger. It's swift. It's capable of jumping out of the way from being. It's like, I feel like Spirit is saying kind of shake it off. You can shake it off. Like the level of your ancestral capability that you share of getting through of situations that feel heavy is you underestimate your capability and your strength. You are literally like sitting on the shoulders of giants and tigers, like magical tigers. Like, I'm getting the feeling that, this ancestral tribe back in this time frame, that they weren't the apex predator. They weren't top of that list. So this has required a lot of adaptability, a lot of bravery. There is this sense of feeling that things are a bigger obstacle or impossible to overcome, but they're not. Maybe you feel sort of heavy under that, but you're coming out the other side. And if you don't think a tiger can handle a style, think again. This tiger could clear that by a good meter if it fancied. It's you see that there may be an obstacle ahead, but it's actually what you're beginning to see is that they're designed to elevate you. Like, these obstacles can be made into bridges. They can be made into spaces that cross over the divide, that are useful to you. It's because you're learning what you can and cannot accept. And sometimes we just are prevented from moving forward in the way that we would like to by forces that are much larger than us, like much bigger. Yeah, there's a lot of traveling energy up here. I think some of you may be just very inclined to explore, to journey, to travel, to even to familiar places. There's an ability to kind of reset that energy. And this is like a giant reset is what I'm feeling. This is the ability to say, okay, there is strength in keeping to myself. There is strength in silence. There is strength in being firm in my boundaries, in, what I thought were big obstacles in the past are now manageable, easy. Their spirit's way of helping me just clear it, just hop over it, just shake it off, just get through, because I now know what I will and won't accept. I now know that I can't be dumped on. Life is a journey. You've gained so much strength. You've gained so much strength. And you're putting one foot in front of another. And there are obstacles, and there feels like a sort of a stop. But it isn't. But you're now going to start moving towards coming out of maybe what has been a real trial. That's what I'm feeling. And you've been accompanied by energy that has got through so much tribulation, so much difficulty, at a time when it feels like there really weren't that many people around. This is like post-cataclysm kind of energy, but like a fair while after the initial cataclysm. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of a trying to rebuild culturally. So I feel like whatever you've been through has been like a big movement, a big shift, and it could have happened over a period of time. It's like traveling a long way. It's like suddenly you realize you've been walking every day, and suddenly you stop, turn around and take your bearings, and you can see just how far you've come. You can see just how capably you've survived the space. There is a genuine desire to gain from isolation, or to gain from just being in your own company at this point, and thinking a lot about what you will and won't put up with going forward. Because it's felt really heavy. There's been a heaviness, or a sense of feeling defeated, or a sense of feeling ostracized. And I feel like I say that somebody could have dumped a lot on top of you, or just dumped on you, or isolated you, or sort of this, it's like kind of cast away or cast out kind of flavor. Like an exodus kind of energy is what I'm picking up from this ancestral side of thing, like having to travel away from your home or your space, or winding up a very long way away from your original heritage over many years, because of being forced to by like climate. But this is you. I don't feel that you're being like, I just feel that you're not having to be forced away, but you might have felt pushed off. Or maybe some of you have felt forced, actually. Yeah, there is some sense of feeling rejected maybe here. of abandoned or isolated, or whatever it is. It feels that it's been really weighty. It does feel heavy. It feels like it's designed to depress your energy. It's designed to depress your positivity. And it's actually the positivity of this tribal energy that has managed to bridge the gap, that has got to the other side. This is essentially positive. You can only go halfway into the darkest forest before you start coming out the other side. It's saying to you that there's only a little bit more to overcome, is what I'm feeling, before you're kind of free of the weightedness of this space, free of the intensity of it, or the self-reflection of it, or the journey of it. If you've been in what I would call the underworld journey, in the confrontation of the shadow self and the fear factor space, this might be triggering the ascension back to the light kind of flavor, where you are done with that cycle of the journey and you've integrated what you need to integrate. And what you needed to integrate was boundaries here, was definitely saying, no, I'm not accepting this. I'm going round this obstacle, or I'm finding a way to keep furthering in my journey, to keep moving myself, to follow my dreams, because I feel like there has been blocks in that process, and you have been very alone in that process quite a lot, is what I want to say, which is very challenging. But Spirit is like, you are not alone. There's a whole tribe up here. There's a whole tribe up here that knows that there is this kind of mantle that needs to be carried forward, in terms of understanding just how powerful you are at overcoming, and how much you have overcome. Yeah, it's time to stand at the vantage point and look back at how far you've traveled and how different you are. Even within a year, is what I want to say. I'm seeing that kind of cyclic movement of migration or time here. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for you, but I really hope that resonated. This is really inspirational energy. If it did resonate, please like and subscribe and share. And thank you so much for listening to my channel. I really appreciate your support. Cheers. Bye. Hello to those of you that chose the Paulo Santo. Love the smell of this. It smells amazing. Okay. Oh, lovely. Oh, amazing. So, what's the kind of shape and flavor of your ancestry? Like, what part of your lineage is trying to talk to you, is trying to come forward to you? What are they saying to you? I'm really feeling here that there's a lot of very individually, like very unique energy, artistic in particular, very expressive, creative performance as well coming through strong, healing energy as well with this bundle here. This is a medicine bag. I feel like you're very sensitive people, is what I want to say. Very passionate in that you feel the feels, you feel things deeply, creativity, talent and expression. And then next to the ocean, it's a very powerful, it is strikingly authentic, is what I want to say, is the energy that I'm getting off you. I'm feeling like there is kind of a movement with this woman holding a heart towards this running track, this kind of a kind of straight movement towards the North Node energy here, which for me is like life purpose, life calling. It says step out of your comfort zone, and it's a kind of trajectory feeling. And then at the end we've got, they wouldn't make erasers if we didn't make mistakes, which is a proverb from the USA. And they're encouraging you. There's an encouragement from this lineage to take risks or take a risk. I'm feeling, Spirit is showing me like threads, and how, so take a yarn or a rope, and they're made up of smaller threads woven together, and it's almost as though there's one thread running through, which is like a golden thread, if you will. And every now and then in the lineage, this kind of energy pops up and shines at the surface. And it's almost like there've been a lot of people throughout this lineage, throughout this ancestral energy, that have popped up and been really unique. Like there's a lack of conformity, and it's not like they were looking, they weren't setting out to not conform. They just were who they were, which was non-conformist by nature, by their very essence. And it feels like that's you. And that is also the ancestors in this lineage that have also felt this unique, obvious difference in the world. Like they feel different in the world. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you can relate to feeling that you maybe have had past lives on a different planet or in a different dimensional space, is what I want to say. There feels to me like strong empath energy, strong psychic capability, but also kind of a blurring over into elemental, nature elementals is what I want to say, picking up energies of consciousness connected to water, woodlands, that kind of thing. The herbs, flowers, natural rock substances, that the healing energies of the earth, but they feel animated, they feel alive, they feel conscious. This is somebody, maybe you've got, for example, a capability with crystals where you can pick them up and feel the vibrational content, or plants, or you can express that through artwork, or verbally too. I'm seeing quite like MC energy around this, like I say, like there's a kind of performance related capability going on here. I'm also feeling like part of the lineage was also playing at some kind of playfulness with gender roles. There's some kind of difference. This could be somebody being homosexual at a time when it was considered like enormously conservative, maybe even dangerous for them to be that way, but there was an ability to be to step out of the same judgments as others because of the talent related to this space. Like for example, the ability of the Jews to survive in Nazi Germany in the performance-related arenas because they were so outstandingly gifted in that, or comedic energy as well. I'm feeling that too here. Some of you might be very witty. I am feeling this kind of wit or something that steps out of the norm. This could be gender related. This doesn't have to be, though. This could definitely be just eccentricity, creativity, performance related energy, or healers very much here. Even writers too is what I'm getting. People that pop up in your lineage and don't feel accepted. Again, with this, I'm picking up like Wiccan energy here as well with Ceridwen. So I feel like some of these people in your lineage were like really capable herbalists, is what I want to say here. Using medicinal skills to transform illnesses or to sweat out fevers. I'm seeing that, yeah, the ability to actually remove this kind of curse energy and heal wounded spaces, maybe actual wounds as well. There's a definite capability that you have of healing heart energy, healing or buffering the pain of heart energy with a compassionate flavor that's coming through here, like but you could also do it with humor or wit or performance related energy or creativity, is what I'm feeling. But this force is powerful and very healing. There's strong transformational capability running through these people, these various individuals that popped up throughout this lineage that were that broke ground because they just weren't the same as others. There's almost like strong scorpionic energy is what I'm feeling. I'm almost seeing, because of the butterfly up here, a Ceridwen, the death and rebirth association there, and also some water here. This curses card feels like almost like a sting in the tail. I feel like a lot of you have been like criticized, like maybe quite repeatedly, maybe quite it's pointed, is what I want to say. It's hard, or it's like you've been a target. That's what I want to say. You've been a target. I'm feeling like a poison dart, like that kind of thing, like a sudden attack. It's because you're different. You are just different. It's like you can't hide it. It hurts you to hide your light. It hurts you to hide your passion. And your passion, it just, or passions, some of you have multi-talents, is what I want to say. I just feel like you can't live in accordance with anything other than your heart. And that can be really hard because it can set you up as a target. Because there is so much fear around living with complete authenticity in alignment with your heart, a fear of judgment. And I think you have been judged. I think you have been the victim of a quite significant jealousy. Yeah, quite significant jealousy, and just and quite poisonous, like criticism is what I want to say. You have the capability of healing, but you also have the capability of being very guarded and maybe having the same capability that with sharpness with words. If you're feeling defensive, if you're feeling cornered, your ancestors are trying to say to you, there's no need to defend who you are. Be really proud. Hold that heart up like an emblem. You've gone through a lot, is my feeling. I feel like people have really tried to actively and willingly hurt you, and it's because you are not the same as others. You are a non-conformist, and whether you like it or not, I feel that that's the energy that you carry. And the more that you try and conform, the more that it will set you up in feeling vulnerable. There is a sense of fearing that people won't accept you exactly the way you are, like for who you are. Can you hear my cats making strange whirring noises? It's part of your calling to express yourself in a creative way, in multicolours. There's a lot of colourful energy up here. Yeah, this sensual energy. I'm getting fabrics and threads again, like fashion or woven energies too. Like there's the art of being who you are is hugely important to this particular group of people. You are needing to step into your life's purpose by moving forward towards your creative expression. I feel like some of you are really still recovering, and you're having to put to bed, you're having to kind of get to the end of a grieving process where you're at the final point of transformation. I'm feeling, and there's a sadness about this, there's a heaviness about this, there's a real bruised heart energy. And it's almost like you're at the point where you're saying, go on then, say whatever you like, do whatever you like. And that's where you're starting now to move forward, where your ancestors are like, great. The less you care about what other people think of you, the more powerful your energy becomes. And it's like a light in the darkness. It's hugely inspirational to other people. I'm feeling like strong star energy. This is like pole star. I'm seeing the star in tarot in my mind up here as well. I'm feeling that you have a mission, and a part of your mission is to be seen, is to be visible. Not necessarily on like a public stage, although for some of you that is definitely the case, but it's more being openly who you are and proud of that, and stepping forth into that space where you're like, this is who I am. Showing that vulnerability via that enormous big heartedness, via a natural modesty. And also here there's this kind of innocence. You have like there's a youthful, sorry, I'm just like distracted by the cats like beating up a box behind me. But there's like you've drunk from the fountain of youth. There is a definite sort of defiance of kind of age, defiance of all kinds of like so-called rules in social expectation, or this is true artistry, and no great artists got anywhere without breaking old ground. They were just authentic to who they were, and that's you are naturally inclined to be authentic, because there's such powerful passion here. I do feel like some of you are really intuitive and very, very psychic as well. There is a lineage of magic that you might find yourself intuitively capable of doing healing, for example, or just knowing when to do things, or having just a ritual inclination, or even small acts of magic like candle lighting or affirmations, or there is this flavor of you intuitively being very familiar with that throughout your lineage, and having that sort of information passed through genetically into you here. There's great wisdom. Some of you are immensely capable counselors. I feel like you can accompany people through huge transformation, and you can help them heal from also being targeted, from cursed energy, or people that want to see you fail because your realness terrifies them, is what I want to say. I just feel like, because you've been through a lot, because you've learned how to heal yourself, because you're still on that process, your capability of kind of leading the way, being like a leading light up here, being visible, because there's so much feeling attached to this, because you feel the feels of this, that you have the capability to allow people to come to terms with having made mistakes, like in order to have things close and reopen again, in order to close cycles and come into an open space again. Like, you know, knowing that life without risk is not worth it. It's not worth living without passion. It's not worth living without expression. Like, these are things that are close to you, that are dear to you, that are fundamental, and it runs throughout all of these people, that like where it skipped several generations, and then there would be another sort of section of this thread that I see in your lineage where somebody pops up and they're really inspirational. They're very, very unique. They're ahead of their time. They might well be persecuted in that space because they are non-conformist by nature. But this isn't a rebellious energy. This is an empath. This is somebody who's super, super sensitive to currents that are much larger than themselves. Some of you might be very moon sensitive, or and getting a sensitivity to other planetary bodies and a sense of dimensional space as well, like I say, with that kind of sprite or elemental flavor. I feel like your ancestors are really saying to you, you know, you need to start recognizing that this critical energy, no matter how poisonous, no matter how triggering, no matter how painful, your best way of protecting yourself, of protecting your heart, is being even prouder of who you are, is being even more expressive, more flamboyant, more colorful, more whatever it is that you require to be you. And to really, that will move you massively towards your calling. Some of you already know what that is, and you are using it to pull yourself away from this judgmental space, or this curse energy. There's been a long line of there's been the subjugation of the sacred feminine in your lineage. Like, this is a woman holding a heart. This is a feminine energy that's been undermined or pushed under, or kind of sold short or sidelined, is what I'm feeling. It's a very powerful powerfully in tune energy, like just so capable of and so self-aware, but also very very visible, maybe very beautiful, very alluring, very otherworldly is what I want to say. There is a vulnerability around that feminine energy that has made it like a target for predatory energy, is what I'm feeling. And there's that flavor coursing through this as well. And you're part of the process of transforming this by stepping out the feminine into a more powerful place of self-expression, a more, the power in the sensitivity, the power in the beauty, the power in the softness, the power in the tenderness, means that you don't require a defensive stance. You don't require using wit as a defense mechanism, or you don't require retaliation when you are shot at, kind of thing. It's more that your ability to adapt is powerful, and your ability to transfer. It's like Madonna energy, you know. It's like how Madonna does it. I mean, there ain't nothing vulnerable about that, and yet at the same time she expressed her vulnerability, and she broke ground. She broke ground every time. if she made a move. There's a chameleon type energy up in this as well. I feel like there's huge innovation in this lineage. There's no need to keep defending yourself. You need to step out of your comfort zone. There is something that you know that you want to do to move towards, and although you fear judgment, or you fear making a mistake, or you fear that things won't work out, or that things will come to an end, or it's the risk is asking for you to take it. Go deep is what I'm feeling. Like, step into the understanding of the depth of the power that you hold, because you are meant to kind of guide a way. You're meant to lead is my feeling. And it's not that you're kind of meant to lead a small group. It's almost like you lead because you are being you. And that's all you need to do, is be yourself and be authentically yourself in the world, and let go of energy that has previously kept you down, or cursed you, or blocked your creativity is what I want to say, or made you feel deep grief. It's time to feel less fragile and know how powerfully strong that your heart is, because it's immunized from all of the cursing. It's been immunized, and you are now able to guide others through those spaces and through those transformations. So yeah, wow, it's powerful energy. There's a lot of talent in your lineage that, like I say, it's like the seventh son of the seventh son kind of flavor. This kind of frequency pops up every now and again. Right, that was fascinating. If that resonated with you, please like and subscribe and share. And thanks so much for listening to my channel. Really appreciate it. Bye. Hi there to those that chose the safety matches. So what do the ancestors want to say? What kind of ancestry is coming through? What kind of flavor is it that they are bringing to the table, and why? First off the bat, if you had an idyllic childhood, this is not your stack. I'm just putting that out there. This is not your stack if you had a wonderful childhood. So do pick another stack if you've got no complaints about your childhood, because I do feel that there is strong child wounded energy in this particular selection. So the ancestry I'm picking up here, there feels quite an official energy around this. So definitely feeling like this could be an individual that you're familiar with, or it could be like a few ancestors over a period of time. I'm not getting it's too long ago. I'm getting it's like kind of mid 1800s to kind of now is the energy that I'm feeling for this particular group. I am feeling definite military connections, possible church connection here. Farming is an obvious one with this card up here. Maybe some legal or involved in peacekeeping, peacemaking. So maybe I'm seeing uniforms, like something where you'd have to wear a uniform for the job you did or the role you did, or so that you were kind of recognized in that position. You were recognized as being maybe a productive, participating member of society. So maybe that relates to somebody specific that you know, but it doesn't have to. I'm feeling that this is the kind of, this is an official, these are people who led that sort of officially rubber stamped, like socially acceptable lives is what I want to say. And actually part of their message is that they don't want you to have to feel obligated to do the same. I feel like some of these people feel that they only recognize the truth of their position, or maybe joining the military or joining the church, or later in their life when they felt that they wish that they had stuck with their personal conscience rather than a social obligation. Excuse me. I feel like two competing elements, that social expectation and personal conscience. And the things that kept them awake later in life were the things that they'd done that were socially what was expected of them to do, but that left them feeling really brokenhearted and feeling that they'd committed a sin or that they'd transgressed against their soul, something like that. And they may not even have articulated this during their life, but it was felt really profoundly here. It had high emotional content, emotions are running high, really high emotional content for these people, that maybe that they felt. And now they would say to you, honor is better than honors. Like, no matter the accolades that they got in life potentially, or the admiration, or maybe success in practical terms, they would say to you, you can't take it with you, is what I'm hearing. You can't take it with you. Honor is better than honors. So understand, don't be indecisive, is what I'm hearing as well, because I'm getting Two of Swords energy with this, and I am feeling strong indecision, possibly around practical matters here, maybe around work or finances or living arrangements, and it feeling kind of stuck, or that there's no movement forward at the moment, or that it's really that your abundance is blocked in some way, and they are saying that it's only blocked by your indecision about your own doubtfulness, about your own doubting nature. There is a sense of needing to kind of watch cynicism or cynical energy. I feel like there has been such it feels very restrictive. This childhood energy feels very restricted, almost shy, scared to come forward, scared to reveal their authentic self, for fear of hurt, for fear of strong emotional reprisal, or strong judgment, or it being wrong. Somehow you being wrong or defective. And I feel like this is a lineage of children that weren't overly happy, is what I'm feeling. It feels like your ancestors are saying, you don't have to continue this cycle. It's like, please break the cycle, is what I'm hearing. I'm seeing scissors now with the peacemaking card. Like, it's cutting away from patternings. Don't be quick to judge. Don't be quick to. It's not about being right. It's about being happy. That's what I'm hearing. It's about being happy. It's almost like being able to release or let go if people are judging you or boxing you in or telling you you're unworthy or making you feel pain or casting aspersions on your grasp of reality, because Maya represents the material realm. The illusion of the material is what that is representative of. So it's kind of saying, don't fall. Your ancestors saying, don't fall for the illusion of stuff. Don't fall for the illusion of success being in, what job you have, or what religious concepts you have, or how diplomatic you can be in keeping the peace or reconciling to a situation that may not serve you. You're revealing the truth to yourself here, and it's painful. There's a painful revelation of truth occurring at this point in time, and it could be causing strong emotional content with you. And I feel like some of you may need to speak to somebody who is a close confidant, somebody that you can trust, somebody that it won't go any further, is what I'm hearing. Like, it's private. So it could be a mentor or a really close friend or somebody, a spiritual leader of some description. I'm seeing the Hierophant now. So like somebody that you could go to, an advisor who is not there to judge you, but is there to allow yourself to express what needs to be expressed so that you can reveal the truth to yourself and so that you can heal the wounded nature of the child. Because without the healing, the cycle continues and it becomes a cynicism, it edges in, a kind of shut off from the heart space, that it blocks your sense of joy or abundance, or that things are flowing really well, or there may be like some kind of financial constraint or some kind of block to productivity is also what I'm saying here, or block to health. I feel like you are revealing or pulling the veil back on something that is essentially very disappointing. And that's why it's painful to see. The truth is hard to look at, is what I'm getting from this. And the truth of the situation is that for some of you, I think that you're dealing with people that have behaved in a way that you would consider just wrong or just sinful. It could be in a romantic capacity with the heart here, that you feel cheated on or somehow duped, is what I want to say, or that it's just very painful, and not reflective of who you really are, is what I want to say. I feel like there could have been some kind of collusion. There are two sides to this heart. There are two booths. There are two swords. It could be dealing with two people that have colluded. I am hearing gossip as well here. And it's the sadness is that you may have really put in a lot of effort into keeping things steady or balanced or keeping the peace, feeling like you were a space where you could release and maybe something's re-triggered. It's just it's revealing to you the vulnerability, your sense of feeling vulnerable or open to criticism, open to being harshly judged or being sidelined or being of little significance to people that matter. This energy feels like it's been hidden. With this moon, with the veils, with the curtains, I feel like you're drawing the curtain back. I'm seeing the Wizard of Oz now, actually, with the curtain and the farm and the hot air balloon. Yeah, there's the Wizard of Oz feeling coming through here. I'm seeing, it's Dorothy pulling the curtain back and saying, you're just a man kind of thing. You're not a superhuman wizard that can sort this out. You've been projecting something very different. And there is a sense of somebody or projecting an energy towards you. But it's actually, I'm hearing the word, it's very hypocritical energy. I'm hearing people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. So again, I feel like you're being judged by people who are very judgmental, maybe. There's been some kind of hurtful confession or some hurtful kind of interaction, some kind of truth has been revealed to you about the conditionality of the love on offer, that it's not an unconditional love. And maybe you feel like it should be unconditional, but it's not, it's conditional. And that's not your fault. It's just that, and your ancestors are really supporting this. They're like, the people have a very narrow perspective of what constitutes a successful type of existence, and you don't have to adhere to their expectations, whether it be in a material aspect or in a spiritual aspect or in just in terms of what you do with your time or do with your life. It's not appropriate for your truth. Your truth reveals something different, and there's no point in engaging in conflict potentially or argument with people who are determined that they have to be right, that they have to win in some way. And for them to win, it means beating you or beating you down or pushing you down, or that it's not acceptable is what I'm feeling. And the ancestors are like, there's strong warriorship is what I want to say with this. There's strong determination. There's like real like a bloody mindedness. The ancestors are wanting you to like use that energy that they've got, their determination to push through, to fulfill your duty to the world, which may not be what the people around you believe you should be doing, is what I want to say, or is expected of you in a cultural way or in a socially respectable manner. It's not about those things. It's about you revealing to yourself the truth of who you are and understanding that you have a right to feel enthusiastic about your capabilities, about your sense of abundance, especially if honor and your honoring of yourself is held at the heart of it. Now, you need to forgive and release, and the forgiveness needs to be for yourself here, because I feel like one of the things that you're revealing is an understanding that you are manipulated by people who use guilt as ammunition. If they could make you feel guilty, then they can control you to some degree, or they can steer you down pathways that they think are right for you but are not right for you. It's not necessarily malicious energy, although for some of you I think it might be, with that gossiping flavor, with that there's a kind of there's a barbed energy with that. But for some of you it's not malicious energy. It's just that these people are very narrow in their concept of what equals acceptable, but they're not asking themselves what makes you happy. It's about what makes them happy. And what makes them happy might not be what makes you happy. And you have to ask yourself, are the people that have criticized you or put you in this position, are they happy? And if the answer is no, I don't think they really are, then that should help you release this quicker. Guilt is a major issue here, is what I'm feeling. I feel like that has been something that has been conditioned, and it's something that can feel very heavy and that needs to be moved away from. The more that you feel a sense of guilt or obligation, the more that you will feel a negative energy and a kind of resentfulness. The more that you have a tendency to engage in conflict, that when nobody wins, just because you want to be seen, you want to be visible, you want people to see the real you, is what I'm feeling. And it's very hurtful when they don't, or they misread you, or they misjudge you, or they feel that you expressing your emotional content or expressing your unhappiness or your pain or expressing a belief that you feel that things, that there's been some kind of sin perpetrated, or that you feel that something is wrong, that gets cut down or shut out or blocked off, or judged. It's not worth it, is what I'm hearing. It's not worth it. It's who cares about the winning? That's what I'm hearing. And this is coming from ancestors that may have won, if you know what I mean, that may feel that, but they're the ones that are saying that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's coming from another side of viewing things. There may be some issues with work, like a block. I've said that. I feel like you're really super sensitive, is what I want to say. I feel like you're really affected by the moon, so keep an eye on that. But I feel like there's a sort of ability to look beyond the veil as psychic capability. Also a very capable imagination, a very capable imaginary realm. You may have escaped your unhappy childhood via the realm of imagination and almost poetry, I want to say, like poetic energy or musical energy, or there's strong psychic capability though. I feel like part of your spiritual mission is to break this cycle that's perpetrated where you heal the inner child and therefore you don't feel bothered by criticism. You don't feel a need to retaliate. You don't feel a need to defend yourself. You don't care if you're misunderstood. It's almost like a goal, and your ancestors are getting behind you on that because they feel like there's a number of energies here that feel like they wish that they had done this earlier. Maybe later in their life they realized that decisions that they had made were wrong, or they felt, I don't know, that they felt that they'd done unforgivable things in the name of social progression. And that could definitely relate to people having to be in conflict or in battle and having to kill an enemy and then having to sit with that and realizing that it was heartbreaking because it felt wrong, and them encouraging a release on this space, or encouraging a sense of freedom as well from feeling constrained or restricted by other people's unfair expectations on your situation or on you or how you should express yourself, because there's a lot of passion here. Emotions are running high, and usually this is a very enthusiastic card. But I feel like there's a real dampening to the enthusiasm because your confidence has been knocked here by some kind of judgment. And maybe you do need to confess something. Maybe you need to get something off your chest that's very emotional. And it could be to do with a reconciliation or a severance. I'm getting that. It could be either of those energies. It's up to you whether you choose to reconcile, whether you choose to sever, because I feel like your ancestors are saying there's no point in attempting to reconcile with somebody who will only allow that reconciliation on the basis of them being right and you being wrong. It's all a journey. It's all a learning curve. It's all about coming to terms with the pain, and it's because they haven't come to terms with their inner child wounding is what I'm feeling. So they may abdicate responsibility, or they may create more conflict by talking quietly or colluding behind your back, or there is that sense here, and that is depressing, and it is, what's the word, it's disappointing. Your ancestors saying, like, try not to take this personally. It may feel personal, but try not to take it personally. The personal energy comes from the childhood space. You don't have to be in that space anymore. the second that you free yourself from how other people perceive you is when you really set yourself free of what is holding you back, of the tethers that hold you to the ground. When you can cut free, you can cut the guy ropes and be free, as long as you're in alignment with your conscience, because that's the thing that will keep you up at night, your conscience. Other people's expectation need to be removed from that. Just because it's socially deemed correct does not mean it is correct for you. You must stay in alignment with what is right for you. You may have felt or are feeling stressed about work or money or your stability or your health or any of those things. There's a lot of material energy, and I feel like your ancestral line has kind of valued material things, and that's fine. But like I'm hearing again, you can't take it with you. So what do you want to take in terms of life experience with you? What constitutes your version of happiness? Because it's not other people's. And the truth of recognizing that conditionality to their affection or to their love is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, but your heart has done a lot. You've done a lot of healing. You may need to cry. You may need to release emotional content. Again, this could be done with somebody that you trust, who you can have a heart-to-heart conversation with, who will not judge you for feeling emotional or expressing yourself in that way, as long as you're not personally attacking them. There is this understanding that you need to kind of be bigger than what you are at the moment. You need to step out from feeling like that shy, defective child. You're not defective. You've been made to feel that in some way that you are defective. And if you believe that, you will act in that way. So it will create hurt for you and for others around you. So that it's really pronounced that you break free from this. Your ancestors, or some of the people in your ancestry, may have caused pain to the younger generation because of their rigidity, their inability to bend or move, because of this like religious or moral structure, because of their very, very black and white view of what is right and what is wrong here. And I feel like your ancestors are coming through today to say to you, sod what is right and wrong in terms of a socially acceptable outlook. What is right for you? What is right for you in this situation? And what feels wrong or feels icky or feels difficult or feels like it's a no-win situation, and therefore you don't owe anything, even if it's a contract, even if there's a promise. Like, it's not serving you. It's not serving you to stay stuck or feeling lacking, and allowing yourself to feel very, very judged, or being maybe hypercritical with yourself because you were used to that energy maybe when you were younger. But it's not about that. It's about removing the block. And peace doesn't have to come at the cost of your personal honor, your personal conscience either. It doesn't have to come at great cost. That in itself is a sin, is what I'm feeling that your ancestors are saying, not respecting or honoring yourself in order to just keep the peace or to not have conflict is not acceptable for them, because it will cause you more pain, and they want to see you able to express this big hearted, highly emotive energy that is deeply spiritual, because I feel like you can offer great service or great counsel, or great you can remove your emotional content and look at things with perspective, is what I'm feeling. And at the moment, though, there is strong emotional content in your space, and it kind of needs to be gone through and felt so that it can be released. So your ancestors are here saying, fight the good fight for you. Fight to forgive yourself, in terms of being easily manipulated, or being made to feel guilty, or being made to feel lesser or insignificant or vulnerable, or that your sensitivity, that your heartfelt energy wasn't appreciated. Move yourself into a more productive frame of mind, because, like I say, you've got every reason to feel that things are going to go smoothly, that things are going to go well. It's like a monster of the mind is what I'm feeling. And I feel like this monster has been put there by people in your ancestral line, or your caregivers, or, some kind of overlay of energy, maybe culturally as well here. So I really hope that resonated. And if it did, please like and subscribe and share. And thanks so much for joining me. Bye.